Hi guys, and welcome to the Lowland League Catchup. It's myself, RampantFM, and I'm joined by Mozza. How you doing, mate?
I'm really good, mate. How's you?
Yeah, pretty good. How did you enjoy Game of Thrones?
I absolutely loved it, mate.
I know, not everyone's a fan, but the first time I actually spoke to you in person, we had to discuss it. It was a brilliant episode. Like, I know a lot of people weren't happy with the storylines and the plot armor and stuff, but I think there's more to come from it.
Just as well got plenty of storylines to talk about in this podcast, then.
Yeah, right. Let's move on to football. Obviously, we'll start obviously with the Highland Lowland playoff between East Kilbride and Cove Rangers. East Kilbride obviously beaten 2-1, both set plays, both corners from Daniel Park. First one into Harry Milne, who got the header, and obviously the second one into Scott Ross. Jamie Longworth's goal, crucial in the 92nd minute to get them back in. I don't know if you saw the highlights of this, Mozza, but to me, I think for the first corner, I can't remember what Kilby player it was, but I don't know if it was just a lack of composure or lack of concentration, but like he just didn't really communicate well with the keeper, Willie Muir, and that's why it created the corner. Do you think that was a wee bit of nerves, or what was
Quite
that?
possibly, yeah. I mean, it's a massive stakes game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the amount of times I think pretty much everyone's agreeing at this point that whoever wins this leg's favourites for the ultimate kind of showdown with the League 2 team in Berwick. But I don't know if favourites the right thing to use, but you'd fancy them to go and win it.
Yeah.
So there's a huge amount on line for both clubs. Both clubs are desperate to get promoted, and it's only natural for there to be a few jitters here and there. I think you're right. I think there was a wee bit of miscommunication there. But bear in mind the other thing with Kilby and Cove facing each other, I don't think they've really faced another side as good as they have been this year, if that makes sense.
I would agree with
They've
that.
both been a step ahead of the rest in their respective leagues. So this is two titans clashing at this level, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, and I think obviously the history as well, the fact that it's fresher in the Cove Rangers guys' heads. A lot of them obviously played in the playoff, against Cowdenbeath last season, the game that I was at actually, where it all kicked off. But obviously the season before, East Kilbride, so there's a few boys there that obviously have it in their mind as well, obviously the failure, if you will, of not getting to League 2. And I think they both know. I think both guys will know this is like probably their best chance that they've had in years. And there's so much on the line in this game. I think nerves did creep in, and you can't blame either the East Kilbride guys or the Cove Rangers guys, because it's a big high stakes game, a lot of nerves. It's something we're not being used to of East Kilbride though. They did look a wee bit jittery. Cove, I think, had chances to extend their lead, and it's certainly East Kilbride. I think Paul Woods had a really good chance to before they got their second as well. So it's not over, certainly not over going up to Cove, but I think Cove will fancy their chances certainly.
I think both teams will still fancy their chances on it. Cove are obviously in prime position after the 2-1 win. One of the things that we'll no doubt touch on here, they made a big deal about in the post-match kind of chats and interviews, set pieces being a big focus for them against Kilby. They clearly saw something they could take advantage of there, and so proved with the 2 goals. Anyone that hasn't seen the highlights, I would encourage you to go and see them before the game coming up this Saturday. But it could have been a different game if, like you say, Paul Woods hadn't been denied by a cracking save in the 10th minute, roughly, around about then. But Kilby will be absolutely delighted they squeezed the goal right at the end. Jamie Longworth coming on, making a difference.
Yep.
Adding a wee bit of guile, a wee bit of skill in there, experience. And yeah, if they hadn't got that, you'd be kind of concerned for them going up the road. But the goal, it makes everything massive coming into this game.
Absolutely.
So yeah, in the wake of Saturday's game, I was lucky enough to get a chance to speak to Duncan Little, who's the secretary at Cove Rangers, talking about the game, their season as a whole, and also touching on the gaffer, John Sheen, who's fighting back at the minute from a heart murmur, heart scare. So obviously our thoughts are with him, but here's what Duncan had to say. First up, Duncan, just to get an idea of the season up to this point for Cove, obviously you've had a great campaign winning the Highland League. How do you see the whole season overall going for you?
Oh, it's been an excellent season, to be honest. It's our first year in a new stadium, and to win 3 trophies, firstly the Aberdeenshire Cup, then the Highland League Cup, then the Championship, has been a great start, and especially winning the Championship with only losing 1 game. Been a terrific season so far, no question about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you've got guys there that are more than capable of making a step up if you do get to the final leg of the playoff. Mitch Megginson's one always comes up. But who would you say are kind of the main danger men for Cove in these playoffs?
I think, to be perfectly honest, every one of them. They're all capable of performing really well on the day, scoring goals, as you saw on Saturday. It was 2 defenders that came up and scored. So it's good overall. We've got a lot of experience in the team now, ex-Aberdeen players, a couple of Peterhead players, ex-Peterhead, Scott Ross, Ryan Strachan, Jordan Brown, obviously Mitch Megginson you mentioned, Jimmy Masson, who was originally with Aberdeen as well, and other lads that have been through the youth system here. Blair Yule started off as a youth player, then he went to abroad for a year or 2 to get Scottish League experience, and has come back with the hope that he can get Scottish League with us. So we've got a fairly strong team, and they can all play in different positions. As I say, they're all capable of scoring goals as well, so we're not just relying on one person, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously had a cracking result the first leg, going down to kind of Glasgow area, getting a 2-1 win. Unfortunately conceding right at the end for you guys, but are you feeling pretty confident going into the second leg?
I think you've got to be, because we've been playing well recently, and I think if the boys can lift themselves the same as they did on Saturday, I think we should be okay. Obviously on Saturday, a lot of people saw the way the game went, and we could have scored a 3rd and 4th goal in the second half. But in saying that, Stuart McKenzie, our keeper, had a great save after about 10 minutes, which could have levelled the score at 1-1 early on. So it was very close between the 2 teams, and obviously the goal in the 94th minute is just given East Kilbride a big lift. And what I would say is that the first goal on Saturday, whichever way it goes, is going to be a really crucial goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to kind of round things off as well, you mentioned obviously the new stadium. The club's got everything ready to make a step up, doesn't it? So what would it mean to Cove if you're able to get through these playoffs and get up to the SPFL?
To be honest, it would mean everything, because we've applied about 3 times in the past and failed a couple of times. The very last time was when Annan got in, and it came to, I think it was 6 applied. It came down to head-to-head between us and Annan, and obviously having the old ground then, which couldn't comply with club licensing, that held us back. So now we've got everything in place now. It would mean everything to the club, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we do finish up, obviously thoughts with John Sheeran as well. Is he going to be at the game on Saturday?
I would very much doubt it. What you said to me when I spoke to him last week was you wouldn't see any of the playoff games. And I'm pretty sure the medical people and his family will make sure he's not there.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think it's going to be 2-3 months, he said, before he really gets back on his feet. So I think it'd be too much of a risk to come on Saturday, because just say, for instance, we lost the first goal, I can just imagine how you'd be sitting in the stands. So it's too much of a risk. So I don't think we'll see him, no.
No worries. Well, obviously, all our thoughts are with him in his recovery. Yeah, good to hear that he's kind of on the way back. But thanks very much again for your time there, Duncan, and good luck at the weekend. Looking forward to coming up.
Right, thanks very much. Thank you.
Like you say, Mozza, brilliant chat with Duncan there. It's obviously good to get an insight into Cove Rangers, not a usual team that we cover, obviously, on the Lowlands, but I think the most interesting point of that interview, and I kind of touched on it myself through Twitter, there was a lot made about Mitch Megginson, and I've seen him in person. He's a quality player, but he's not all what Cove's about. They've got quality players for that team, guys that have played for the likes of Peterhead, Aberdeen, kind of similar to Kilby in a lot of ways. Obviously, the players with that league experience, plus some of the guys that they've built up themselves with the academy and whatnot. I think it was just an interesting point there, because I think there was a bit of a mentality almost that we know how good East Kilbride are, but because we don't see Cove every week or whatever, we kind of might have thought East Kilbride would do what they do and just beat them comfortably, but it's certainly not the case.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, with the greatest of respect to Highland League and the people that cover it, I don't think we hear anywhere near as much about the teams up there and the players as we do the Lowlands now.
Yeah.
Generally, Lowlands get a really decent level of coverage, I think, for the level it's at. But no, Doug's is quite right to point out you've got the likes of Blair Yule, for example, who's got SPFL experience, and plenty of that team do as well. So it's a very similar blueprint they've got to Kilby, as you say, and it makes it a really, really kind of exciting matchup going ahead, especially with it being so close to first leg. Anything can happen.
Absolutely, and obviously yourself and Sean are up north on Saturday. Yep. Looking forward to it at Balmoral Stadium.
Yeah, looking forward to the new stadium as well. They've obviously put that in place with a view of getting up to the leagues. Kilby themselves know that feeling, getting the stadium all set up and expanded. So yeah, it'll be a really interesting game, I think. Hopefully not too nervy to spoil it, but no doubt there'll be a wee bit of tension in there, and looking forward to a good game either way.
Brilliant. I think it's going to be a difficult game for East Kilbride, especially going away to Cove. I really, really want East Kilbride, having seen them a fair bit, especially towards the end of the season. I really, really hope they get through that. But I think, having seen Cove personally, a lot of similar guys that were playing against Cowan Beef in the playoff, I think majority of the team's kind of similar. I noticed when I checked the lineups again. They're a quality outfit.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be biased, and I'm wishing this happens. I'm obviously East Kilbride for me. I think they have to go. They deserve. Again, you want to say they deserve it, but obviously it's a playoff game. I want to say East Kilbride. I really do.
I mean, we'll be going up supporting them as Lowland Catchup kind of representatives, myself and Sean. But yeah, Cove are a tough nut to crack at home. Very tough nut to crack. The only thing we can be absolutely sure of is either side will be delighted there's no Cowan Beef waiting for them in the next bit.
Absolutely, yep. So we'll move on to the Lowland League Cup. We'll just do a sort of quick run through of this. We'll start with one of the Friday fixtures. I think it was probably one of the bigger ties off the opening sort of Lowland League Cup. It was Spartans versus Kelty Hearts. I was actually at the game. Really decent game of football. Interesting that Barry Ferguson changed the formation a bit. He played three at the back, and I think for the longest time I actually kind of worked against Spartans. But Spartans, obviously, they've kind of came on. They obviously clinched top four. Obviously a quality side. It did end up going to extra time with Chris Dodd scoring a diving header, and I think it was an Aaron Scott free kick, and it was Josh Wishart, an under-20s player, that got the tap in. It did go to penalties, and Blair Carswell, one of the top keepers, and depending on how you ask, he's the best keeper in the league. But yeah, well-deserved win for Spartans, but again, it could have went either way. It's a wee bit disappointing, probably from a Kelty perspective, having played so well, but Spartans, I think, if I remember right, I think Dougie Samuels got a bit of a record against Barry Ferguson, not just with Kelty, but obviously previously with likes of Clyde, I think.
Yeah, from what I've heard, and obviously you were at the game as well, it sounds like it was a cracking game for the neutrals to go along to, not just obviously the Lowland League Cup not being as big a deal as the league itself, but it's still a nice way to end the season for any teams that haven't finished up. I think Kelty will probably be a wee bit disappointed to finish up so early, because it's basically win and stay on at this point, isn't it, with the Lowland League Cup. But cracking game, it went all the way, decent entertainment, and they can now look ahead to building on a really impressive first campaign in the league, and Spartans will keep moving.
Absolutely. And just a wee note on, there was a under-20s player, I think he's about 16-year-old, he was called Nicky Reid. He was playing for Spartans. For a 16-year-old, but not the biggest in stature, but quick, two good feet, fantastic footballer for his age, certainly, and it's just testament to the work that Spartans are doing with guys like Cameron Dawson, Murray Hand that was playing I think in the game, Josh Wishart who obviously got the equaliser. I did get a bit of stick, I'm not going to say by who, but one of the Spartans under-20s boys did message me asking why I gave the under-20s development league to Kelty. It was mainly on results, because I think Spartans had been beaten, but I haven't seen them playing for the Spartans more recently. You've got to be impressed with both Spartans and Kelty Hearts under-20s, I would say.
Yeah, and that under-20 league, Lowland and East Scotland league, is going from strength to strength as well. We've seen the last couple of weeks that there's more East Scotland teams committing to join it again next year, so it's going to be even bigger, and it can only be a good thing with all the young talent coming through. Absolutely,
and obviously the Civil Service Strollers have announced that they'll be a part of it as well, which they weren't this season. The only worry I would have with that, Mozza, I think I actually spoke to someone about this, but not going to be a large group of players to pull from, obviously, if there's so many teams going about. That would be my only worry, obviously, but it just means that all the guys are getting game time, surely. I don't think there'll be a lot of guys wanting to sit on a bench if they can go elsewhere and get game time.
Absolutely. So
we'll move on to another Friday fixture. It was BSC Glasgow versus Whitehill Welfare at the Indodrill. Not much to say about this. Pretty routine from BSC Glasgow. I don't think anyone expected Whitehill to really pull off anything against the BSC Glasgow team that are obviously, this is one of their chances to get their hands on silverware.
Yeah, I think Whitehill might have been on a wee bit of a high after winning the last game of the season with Edinburgh Uni, but it was quickly put to rest. It was a reasonably strong BSC team that was out, albeit pretty much every team in the cup I think had a slightly weakened side, if not severely weakened side, running out. But yeah, routine enough win, and I suspect they'll be earmarking this as a chance of silverware.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
Coming second in the league, been a great season for Swifton lads, but ideally they want to get some silverware in the trophy cabinet to crown up on a high.
Absolutely, and moving on to Saturday's game, which I was also at, which also went to penalties.
Jinx.
Yep, Civil Service Strollers versus East Stirlingshire. It was a game, there wasn't really too much going on, to be honest. It was kind of end of season fair a wee bit. I think guys were probably thinking of their holidays, but again, two good sides. Let's face it. Ross Allam went past Josh Donaldson to open it, and then I think Stephen Froud, really decent finish to equalise. Obviously went to extra time. There was actually something quite funny that happened, or I don't know if you would discuss. We obviously know the Shire fan. He might have been given Churchy, who obviously a Falkirk fan, a wee bit of stick about the relegation, which was quite funny when he was warming up.
Right, okay.
Andy Rogers did get a penalty in extra time, but he ended up getting saved by Josh Donaldson. But there was actually a penalty shout for Civil Service Strollers, like right on the 120 minutes. The ball was played in. The referee basically blew his whistle. I'm not sure what Shire player it was, but he said very loudly, "You're risking a penalty there." And I thought to myself, surely that would be a penalty then. Why is the ref telling a player that in that situation? So I think he might have, well, our friends at the Edinburgh Football Podcast say he shat it, but I think he, it was a bit strange. I've never heard that from a referee. Surely he would just give the penalty, but 120 minutes is going to penalties anyway,
I guess the only context that would make sense is if you'd missed the man but you almost took him down.
Yep.
But the whole way it's been explained to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I had a raised eyebrow at that one. But yeah, it did go to penalties. Who was first? I think Blue Boots scored and Green Boots. It was the Shire fan. I think it was James Haney who was up for Civil Service Strollers first, and he was basically shouting Blue Boots and whatever to try and put him off. And then I think if I remember right, it was Corner Green. Blue Boots and Green Boots scored their opening two penalties. A really decent, a few saves from Jamie Barkley. Salem actually got the winners. But yeah, Shire threw 4-2 on penalties. Again, a game that kind of went went either way, I think, in fairness. I saw Dale after the game. He had a smile on his face, so he's obviously chuffed to get through that one.
Yeah, and you've missed the most the most interesting part of the whole game, where I noticed on Twitter that Shire were remarking they were locked out of their dressing rooms at half time, and I don't think they were too chuffed about it, so I had a good chuckle at that as well.
Well, they actually, the funny thing about that is I thought it was going to happen at full time too, because they struggled to get the door open at full time when I was walking past, and also the Shire chairman Bill, who's usually at games, wasn't there. It was Andy Williamson, who we know quite well, doing the Twitter, so it was new grounds for him. He's got a few more weeks to catch up with old firm facts, I think, to catch me up, but his Barry was running out, as was mine. I think I tweeted out 10 minutes after Ross Hallam scored the winner for the penalty. But yeah, again, I think civil service, I think they'll be a wee bit disappointed to not have a deeper run in the cup, also after the great season they've had, and obviously missing on top four. But two good sides, I think, for the teams that are left. I think Shire have a really good chance at it. Yeah,
I mean, once you get past the first round in this cup, anyone can win it, let's be honest. So the first round's a big one. After that, pick a name at a hat and good luck.
Well, Vale of Leven versus Edinburgh University. Edinburgh University won 1-0. Fairly decent win, I would say, especially away from home. I think, who was it? It was Luke Murray, who's plays at right back for Edinburgh Uni, who got the goal. So I'm assuming it was probably from like a set piece or something. But there's not much more to say about that. It's just a really good cup win for Edinburgh Uni.
Yeah, and well done to Uni for bouncing back after the last game of the season, losing to Whitehill. It would have been a bit of a downer to finish the league campaign on that, so fair play to Dorian and the lads.
Absolutely. Gretna 2008 versus University of Stirling. University of Stirling won 7-0. There was Gretna did go down to 9 men at a point, but I think if I recall, I think Chris Geddes in an interview said something along the lines, we don't score 4 every week, but I'm sure he'd be delighted with 7.
Well, that old red card jinx strikes again for Gretna, doesn't it?
Yep. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've talked about that, to be honest.
They've been well behaved up to this point since the last time we were talking about it, but they've gone out in a blaze of glory. I think, to be honest, that from the reports I've had, it sounded like when it hit kind of 3-4-0, half of them seemed to put their mind on the beach.
Yep.
So, cracking win for Uni to go down there away from home, and obviously any 7-0 is a good 7-0.
Absolutely.
But Chris Humphreys just been appointed as the new gaffer at Gretna as well, is the other thing to point out. It'll be interesting to see how that changes things. He's obviously been commuting up and playing for Kilby this year, so I don't know if he'll be a player manager, if he's going to try and help that way, or kind of who he's going to be able to bring in. It's going to be all changed in Gretna way though, down at Radio, so it'll be one of the interesting kind of talking points over the summer to see how things change.
It kind of came out of nowhere for me, to be honest. I wasn't really expecting Chris to be in the hat. He is still fairly young, considering I think he's 31. So even if he does manage to play, that's a great sign-in just in itself for Gretna. If he is just going to be the gaffer again, it's someone that I feel wants to go further up in the game, so it could be a decent grounding for Chris there, and obviously we wish him the best next season.
I mean, it's a cracking opportunity for him, and you've got to start somewhere, so fair play to Gretna for giving him the opportunity and showing the faith in somebody to get started with them. He'll no doubt have plenty of contacts for his time in the game as well, like some Motherwell and Preston and so on. So yeah, it might well kind of see a big change in the squad down there, but I suspect with the people he knows in the kind of game north and south of the border, you might see 1 or 2 surprise signings there.
Yep.
So we'll keep an eye on it.
And obviously I did read a newspaper article that he's seeking advice from the likes of Neil Lennon, obviously the current Celtic boss. So absolutely, I don't think you could get any better in terms of advice. Maybe Alex Ferguson, obviously, but
I was going to say, not getting any better, Neil Lennon. It was not something I expected you to say, so there you go.
Experienced manager, I'll give him credit. Right, on to the last game. This was one that I obviously didn't know what really happened. A bit of a lack of updates until the end. It was 1-1. It did go to penalties, and Edisport Academy won against Albete on penalties. Similar situation. I think Edisport, when I looked at the lineup, they were playing a lot of the under-20s, the youth guys, a lot of names that I hadn't heard of. Albete, probably one of the smaller squads, obviously kind of end of season fair again. I'm sure they wouldn't have liked, they obviously put up a fight, obviously going to penalties, but I think Edisport there just showing how, again, we've talked about under-20s, but the under-20s getting a chance towards the end of the season when I think a lot of the players might be jaded, obviously looking for a bit of a rest. Certainly wouldn't help teams like Albete who unfortunately don't have the under-20s to rely on, and Edisport done what they had to do and got through there.
Yeah. The other thing to bear in mind with Edisport is a lot of these kids will probably see this as their opportunity to push for the first team squad next season. Yep. The way the club itself's built up in the academy, so I'd imagine they'll be very, very motivated to do well in this, given that they're getting their opportunity now, and they'll be wanting to push the guys above them at this point, some of whom will be kind of coming to the end of their time there, and no doubt either move back to France or move on to something new. So this is where the Lowland Cup comes into its own, the Lowland League Cup, because it gives young players like this an opportunity to show that they're ready, and it's a really positive thing because of that. Absolutely.
So just move on to the weekend's fixtures in the Lowland League Cup. We'll start with Gala Ferradine Rovers versus BSC Glasgow. Obviously Gala had a cup bye.
Yep.
It's at the Netherdale. I always tend to think that Gala, they're a strong team at the Netherdale, hard to break down. I'm not 100% sure what their team's like in terms. I know they had a lot of injuries towards the end of the season. I'm not sure how much that's cleared up for them. But as we talked about, BSC Glasgow, Swifty will have these guys drilled, well drilled, and wanting to go for a silverware, I would suspect.
Yeah, I'd expect a strong enough team to go down there that they would be expecting to come back with a victory and get into the next round. As you said, Gala have probably still got the injury niggles that they had at the end of last season. We've only just been a week or two away from the conclusion now, so it's unlikely that they'll have everyone back. I'd expect BSC to get through that.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Though I hope not. I do. I hope. I'm actually, in all honesty, I would like to see one of the like a Gala or even a Colts or a Stirling Uni, or even Edisport. In fairness, one of the sort of someone that does like a team that no one really expects. But obviously, even going into our next fixture, the Spartans versus Edinburgh Uni. At Ainsley Park. Again, you're probably... I always go Spartans at Ainsley Park anyway, but I just don't see Edinburgh Uni beating them, especially at Ainsley Park, and I think Spartans will be comfortably through to the next round, similar to BSC.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to bet against Spartans at home, isn't it?
Yep.
But this competition, anything can happen, so you never know.
Yep, cup football, that's why we enjoy it. Commonwealth Colts versus East Stirlingshire. This should be a quite an interesting one because if I remember right, Colts beat East Stirlingshire very, very recently at Broadwood. An interesting factor there is obviously will Colts play Sean Brown against them, and will he get a goal against East Stirlingshire? That'll be an interesting fixture.
Or will he have a phantom niggle that will keep him at the game?
Who knows? It's hard to tell. I'd probably side with Shire, considering how I think they played well against Civil, and yes. Colts had a wee bit of a break, so I think it's always harder coming back from a break than it is to just basically jump weekend to weekend. I'm going to go with Shire, but it'll be interesting, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I don't think I'm comfortable to make a choice between those two, in all honesty. I'd expect a wee bit of intrigue, though, given that the last time they faced each other, it sounded like it got a wee bit towsy towards the end, so we'll see what happens.
And our final fixture, University of Stirling versus Edisport Academy. Well, I only see this going one way, and I think another 7-0 win for University of Stirling. No, they've been, to be honest, they've kind of been on and off. It's been a bit of a strange one. They've been thrashing teams, then it's kind of been like they've been losing 1-2-0, then they've been thrashing teams, and then, certainly, I think both teams are good. I think University of Stirling, actually, one thing we probably didn't mention, I think they did actually play a lot of the youngsters as well. I know Chris has been doing that towards the end of the season, so we need to give them a wee bit of a shout out for the same thing. I think it could be a lot of mixed teams. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one. See how Chris and Ricky see it, if they're going to give the youngsters a chance, or the fact that they're now in a quarter final of the Lowland League Cup, if they're going to pretty much play their first team and go for it.
Bear in mind that uni now, with the university season at a close, will be a wee bit fresher as well. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see how that one goes, actually.
Absolutely, and I think at this point, Mozza, we have to give a shout out. It's the game's actually starting in less than an hour, but we have to maybe a wee bit talk about the East of Scotland promotion.
Yeah,
playoffs.
absolutely.
Obviously, Pennycook won the first game against Broxburn 3-2. They can seal promotion tonight if they beat Bonnyrigg Rose away. It's going to be tough. Bonnyrigg, I think, are a lot of people's favourites, but how remarkable would that be for Pennycook after pretty much just getting the result at the end of the day to pip Hillabeef, and if they get the win against Bonnyrigg, I think that's a cracker, I would imagine, but I think it will be very difficult for them. Obviously, Bonnyrigg, we know a lot of people's favourites to come up to this league next season.
Firstly, at the risk of sounding like the bearer of bad news, subject to licensing criteria.
Yes.
I hate to say it.
Yes.
I hate to say it, because
I'm sick of saying it,
into that rabbit hole.
I'm sick of saying it.
I've already said what I need to say about the SFA and all that, but let's move on very swiftly before I get back into it. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about momentum at this stage of the season, and Pennycook had to get themselves to the point, even in the last game. So they've just been on a high, carrying that through. Bonnyrigg had sealed the deal, so they might have had a week or two going a wee bit easier. I know the results were still coming in, but it's a really interesting one, isn't it?
Yep.
Bonnyrigg were my choice out of the three of them. I fancied them out the Broxburn and Pennycook to do enough to get up, but we'll see. Ultimately, there could be two of them up as well. You never know with the way that the leagues are going to go. So I'll be watching with interest on the Twitter accounts. Pennycook, the first game, the Pennycook Broxburn game, sounds like it was an absolute humdinger of a game, and Broxburn had their chances to get a leveller right at the death as well, but they've certainly not given up the ghost. They're touting up this weekend's game as make or break, so we'll see if it gets to that point.
And we'll have to give a mention to the fact that I know a lot of people have been discussing myself and Sean's, and I think yours is coming out very soon, Mozza, but the team of the seasons. You can now vote via a post on Facebook and on Twitter through the Scottish Lowland League on who you want to be your basically in your team of the season. I think you can vote for the whole team, which I've done. Obviously, I've just pretty much copied and pasted the guys I chose, but individuals as well. I think you can vote individuals, as Vela Leavens Craig McBride knows. I don't know if it's against the rules if you can vote for yourself or not, but I like that from Craig, and he does. In fairness, he's definitely in with a shout. I think he won the supporters player of the season for Vale.
Yeah.
Certainly he done the job when I saw them up against Kelty. I think he was one of the guys that were keeping out, if you will. But yeah, I don't know if I'm assuming there's no rules for that, but I just thought that was quite funny that he voted for himself.
He can call himself Craig instead of Craig and get away with it. It's all good. But no, welcome to our pain now, folks. You've given us the feedback. I say you've given us. You've not given me any feedback yet. My BSc 11 will be out shortly. But no, I've had the typical Scottish conundrum of how do you pick a left back? Because you've got Jamie Mills, you've got Gary Chen, and you've also got Andy Mayer
at
Civil. And that's a position I've really struggled with, but I've finally made a decision. So you'll see mine out this week, and feel free to send me any feedback you've got.
Funny enough, Derek, that was I don't know if you know this, but when I was playing football, that was the position that I used to play at left back. So I kind of really appreciate the quality we've got in that position in this league. And obviously, I think we're going to do a poll kind of similar, probably a lot sooner, not to confuse people, but we're going to pick basically from myself, yours, and Sean's team of the seasons, and we might have an extra here and there for guys to pick, and we'll get like a viewers team of the season, if you will, for you guys can vote on. Obviously, again, keep it separate from the guys voting on the actual Lowland League team of the season. But left back, yeah, I think I've got my 4, which I've shown you obviously, but certainly Jamie Mills, Gary Chen, Andy Mayer were in the discussion. I was the same. I think I sent my graphic to you a wee bit earlier, and I think I had Gary Chen, and then I changed it. So it's difficult. I know a lot of the civil boys gave me a bit of stick with it, but there's a lot of civil guys to be mentioned, and certainly that the 4, if you will, I think.
And I mean, it's a good thing for the league that we're even having these debates about guys and positions.
Yep.
There's not a clear winner, I don't think, at any single position that I've looked at. There's always been 2 or 3 at the very minimum to kind of choose between, so it can only be a good thing. Things are getting better every year on year, and we'll see if we're going to get Berwick down to potentially add some more names to the mix next season.
Absolutely, and obviously it's similar with East of Scotland guys, hopefully coming up to the league as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And yeah, again, I think you're right with the positioning thing. I tried to sort of stick to positions. I know Lewis Anderson, my friend, he kind of, I think Churchy might have scared him a wee bit with his rant. I think he put him at the back. I was like, I don't think he's ever played at the back.
I think he forgot he wasn't playing Football Manager, and he was actually meant to be picking a serious team at that point. But I can feel his pain just trying to get guys shoehorned in if they deserve to be in it.
Yep. I'm sure it was Kyle Fee. I can't remember if it was Kyle Fee or Jordan Hopkins.
Yeah, I think it was Kyle, wasn't it?
He mentioned that. Yeah, he's definitely might have. I saw the comments that Churchy was making, but I like Churchy for that. If you need guys, especially in a football club, you need guys like that will stick his neck out and whatever, you know what I mean, and say defend the guys. I have nothing wrong with that. I'm just glad that I've pissed him off so many times though.
Hey, I'm bracing myself for it because Churchy's not in my 11, so come at me.
Well,
I did try.
So I think it was going to be always going to be a shorter one today. I think we've done not too bad considering.
Yeah.
Do you want to do plugs? I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Keep it nice and simple as always. On Twitter at Mozza Plays, Mozza with 2 Z's. And how about for yourself?
At RampantFM on Twitter, and obviously you can get the Lowland League Catchup on Facebook, which Sean runs, and on Twitter, which is just at Official Catchup. Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, speaking to you, May. I think last week it was just myself, and I spoke to Kev. But yeah, obviously we want to thank everyone that listens, all the managers, all the players, everyone that gets involved. It's obviously been fantastic. We're obviously coming towards the end here, but we certainly have things planned moving forward. More involvement, I think, is definitely on the agenda, but we appreciate everyone that's been involved so far. Obviously, want to thank the league for pretty much promoting us from the start, as well as the likes of George Fraser. And we'll see you next week.
Catch you then.